Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. What's up, everybody? It's Sugar Erica with the big hair don't care. It's a late night one, so I'm going to do this quickly. Woo nonsense versus compound trust. Making money in 2025. Now, past couple videos I've been talking about the Gilded Age. I've been talking about genteel poverty. I think I've been offending people with my opinions, and guess what? I don't care, because when it boils down to the math, everybody does everything in their power to avoid the math. So part of my point in showing multiple situations, things people are promoting on Instagram, is to converse with you, to talk with you. Right? The past video I did, it was a woman who was living in a shed with her husband and four boys under 11 years old. I don't know about you. If you've ever spent any time in a small space with four boys under the age of 10, if you can, put in the comments, put a 1. If you've been in a space where there have been four athletic young boys in a space at one time, put a 1 in the comments. Now, why am I bringing this up? Why am I saying this to you? Anybody who, I mean, if you daycared, if you was a substitute teacher, if you was a PE teacher, if you babysit dogs, anything, right? You know, 4 children under 10, all boys in one space, is loud, rambunctious, almost feral, nonstop punching, air noises, kicking, pow, 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 all that. So when I show you examples of people who are living in a shed because they don't want to live in an RV, okay? And they were in Texas, but it didn't work out. So now they're back in South Carolina, and then they get to South Carolina and they can't afford anything in South Carolina. So they buy a shed. People will be like, Erica, people like being different. Quit judging. Same thing with van life. For the past 5 years of van life popularity, we've said people are glorifying homelessness. Because if you get down to the root of it, it's money. Oh, I want to travel over the United States. You can't fly there? Oh, that'll cost money. Flying there, hotel, rental car, that'll cost money. I rather car camp. Again, you guys, mindset is everything. And I'm delighted that these people are enjoying themselves. They're traveling the country. They're living in the woods and sheds. And they're off grid. They got 2 sheep in a goat. I'm all for all of it. Whatever makes sense for you and your family. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we have to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room for most people is money. You have people, majority of divorces are over irreconcilable differences, but number one is financial. One's a spender, one's a saver, right? You see people go on a couple of these different channels all the time telling these ridiculous stories that make no sense with their money. Well, if I was them, I'd do this. Again, everybody has an opinion. But the point of this whole channel, the point of the Classy Climb blog, the point of all this was trying to motivate, understand how to invest and why people do what they do, and explaining how you can turn around your situation in 2 to 5 years. And over the course of this journey, doing this channel, talking to people, I realized people would rather eat nails. People would rather step their foot on a rusty nail that's been outside for 10 years. So they know they got to go get a tetanus shot, then have to talk about money and the root cause of something. There are people married to women that they don't even like because of money. They don't have enough, or she makes more than him and he's just going to rock out and he's just going to stay here. Okay. There's women who are with men because they're with everybody, I just want y'all to understand, like, this kind of elephant in the room that you guys keep fighting in conversation is tiresome. It's quite tiresome. So let's go here. Six Flags had 1 million less visitors this year. Supposedly they lost up to $100 million this year. Now people are gonna say, well, Erica, maybe some people don't want to take their kids. Maybe, just maybe it's hot this summer. It's been one of the least hot summers for the past 5 years. In fact, it's been a rainy summer over most of the country. Texas had 5 hot 100-degree days. And I think 2022 it had 22 or 30. So when people tell me, they're going to come up with all kinds of excuses. It's hot, the kids, school, instead of what is the elephant in the room. We cannot afford to go to Six Flags with all our kids and eat drinks and snacks. We just won't go. We'll do something else. Okay, so this is where we keep coming into this magical attachment to a theory. And I would encourage you to detach. Okay, I'm gonna show a clip, and then I'm gonna go into some of the woo-woo. You know what I mean? Some of the woo-woo, because it's important. Because ultimately, people are trying to explain bad life choices. Now, I'm gonna show you 2 things. First things first is this, just to kind of, now as you get older, people have aches and pains, and sometimes their legs don't work exactly like they used to, and you name it. Now there's a thing going viral where it shows 40-year-old men, 35 and up, but mostly 40-year-old men playing tackle football. No, I didn't say building businesses. I didn't say getting their retirement together. I didn't say spending time with their kids. I didn't say spending time with their families. I didn't say they're investing in the community. I said they're playing tackle football at an age where you are at peak injury. Let's show a little bit. Okay. Oh, are these kids? No, these are adults. These are grown men. These are grown men fighting, punching, kicking, dressing like they're 22. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Erica, let people have their hobbies, Erica. Don't be mad that the men have hobbies, Erica. You can't possibly bring up that these men are just having a good time. This is all they signed on the dotted line. Let them tackle each other and play like this. Now, what does the elephant in the room say? What happens when these people tear a knee, ACL, elbows? How do they go to work? How do they drive to work? How do they pick their kids up from the rest of the school year? I just wanted I want you to think about it now. What type of guy or girl would be like, you know what? Let me put these helmet on. Let me show you. I'm as fast as Terrell and I'm as fast as all these other guys. Let me show you how great I was from high school. They're in their 40s, y'all. There's other levels you can play games. You know, pickleball, tennis, lifelong adult sports. Let me step out of that. Let me show you this tab. Let's go here.
Have that much money in your stock option. Person say that they're not going to give their money to their kid, but they're going to donate that money to charity. The charity is just a nonprofit that their children made. They always trying to seem like they're so noble, so against handouts and so against like nepotism and stuff. But really their kid is just going down, filing 501c3 on whatever business that they have. And then when the parent passes, it's just all going to funnel into there. And you're probably wondering why they do that. And it's because if you give the money outright, it's going to be taxed. But if you donate it to a charity, it is going to be tax-free. It's just one of the ways really rich people propagandize you into not helping out your kids. It's in the same vein of a lot of CEOs will give themselves a low salary, like under $100,000 a year. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I just didn't feel good about taking more. It's because they're paying themselves in a lot of stock options. And the reason that you get stock options is because you don't get taxed on stock options until you sell the stock. And if you have that much money in your stock options, you're not going to sell your stock for money. You're going to take out a loan against your stock portfolio. That loan isn't going to be taxed. It's probably going to have a 0% interest rate. And then you're just going to use that money as your spending money. A lot of people think that these billionaires are super smart, super savvy. They had to have gotten this money from somewhere. Really, it's because they hired the right accountant. whenever you see a really rich person say that they're not going to give their money to their kid, but they're going to donate that money to charity.
Okay, let me clarify. This is very accurate, right? The Clintons are like, oh, the Clinton gives all his speaking fees to charity. Yeah, the Clinton Foundation that their daughter works at and receives money. That his brother has contracts in Haiti for mining minerals from the poor Haitians that don't hire the Haitians to work in the mines either. All right. So again, this you can trace this all over. You know, Trump has like 600 LLCs and S corps and all that other stuff and charities. His children have charities. His son Eric, the one that looks really weird, the taller one, he has a charity. You know, like we could go on and on and on about politicians who have charities. Hunter Biden has a nonprofit. Hunter Crack Biden. Okay. I think Kamala's sister has a charity, and then a couple other people have charities that all the political people you think of. Malia Obama got like a federal grant at age 16. For what project? Whatever. They could say whatever the project was. But I bring this up because I want you to understand, like, part of my passion of doing this show and doing this at the rate I do it is when I came into a lump sum of money more than twice, early in my life when my grandma and my father died in a 6 months window. And then later in life, I had a fiduciary person say, oh, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. And so my head spinning. He's like, oh, or you could put your money in this stock account and take a loan out against it and go do A, B, and C you were going to do anyway. But I can't tell you exactly what to do. I'm just doing my fiduciary duty to explain it to you. The most common sense thing would be take this giant lump sum of money, put it in this stock account, and then I'm going to help walk you through how to get a loan from the bank. Which again, he's saying 0% interest. Usually it's like 7 to 13% right now, as of currently this year. If you're a person trying to take a secure line of credit against your stock account, depending on your bank account, depending on your bank and who you work with. If you're in the Wealth Wednesdays, we've talked about it in there. This is important. If you knew the rules of the game, you'd play differently. But a lot of times people will blame everybody but themselves. Now, we're going to go over to the whiteboard, your friend Justice, just to keep it simple and to wrap up this video, because I don't want it to be forever long, because I could go really deep into the woo-woo, but I'm not. I'm going to share the whiteboard and we're going to go with this. Okay. Make sure, make it back big like it was. Boom. Here we go. All right. So in the triangle, which is so important. Most people say, Erica, I need these certifications. I need this. I need a college degree. I need this. No, you need soft skills. The most 3 is energy management, emotional intelligence, and mindset. I told y'all this past week when I went different places and the person did not know how to respond, speak clearly, do just basic mirroring of conversation. I went to Sprouts the other day. This young lady is the manager, and I was just saying, oh my God, you're one of the best. Da, da, da. And she's like, oh yeah, I transferred down from Delaware looking for opportunity. And I'm like, oh, you'll get it. You know what I mean? Because I just realized, like, your communication skills and how you're handling this environment shows me, you're destined for something else anyway. You know what I mean? Eventually she'll figure it out where she wants to go, but she's already management. So part of what I want people to understand is sometimes people don't understand their energy, and sometimes you have to remove yourself from them. There was a couple I was watching on Instagram where the man is just like, you need to, what about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Right. And so the therapist was like, bro, like, what about her? Like, and so I'm thinking, oh my God, it must have been this tragic, life altering thing that made him act like this. And all it was is they had to move. They lived in one town where he had his job and it was where he wanted to live. And then she needed, for her job, it was her turn to move to this other city. So they moved to this other city and he was just traumatized by it. A grown 40-plus-year-old man, like, oh, this move, she doesn't care. And it's like, bro, people move all the time. And this is part of why I'm so grateful. As a military kid, we moved around, because you learn that's not the end of the world. If you leave this one city, it's not the end of your life. It's not the end of the world. You'll talk to people, you'll meet new friends, you'll meet new guys that you're going to fall in love with, and you're thinking about marrying. All that happens every city. So you have to learn how to fix your mindset, how you're talking to people, how you view life, right? Because I'll talk to people like, I'll never be rich. Oh, I'll never get out of here. I'm always poor. My whole family's this, my whole family's that. And it's like, whoa, first of all, detach yourself from that. Detach from that whole thinking. You are not them. This is a whole new era. We got laptops and computers and phones, and there really is no excuse on many levels, right? And you have to recognize the energy transfer. They're trying to convince you, sell or be sold, that, oh, I'm just so bad of a person. So then they want you to turn around and use all your energy, be like, no, you're such a great person. You're a good person. Look at the good things you do. And then they're going to just go, because they're a leaky bucket, people who act like this. And they go and ask the next person and tell them the same sob story. And, my mama was this and my daddy was that. And, sir, you're 40 years old. You blaming your mom and daddy. They've been dead 10 years. What's going on? Right? That's why I showed that one guy in the Air Force, him joining the Air Force, because the woman he was dating, her father had a military career and a second career, and he had uncles in the military, and she came from a stable environment. He did not. So he had two choices. What? Live in the hole. My mom is going in and out of jail. My dad is on drugs, selling drugs, doing stuff. I just never had a chance. Or he could lean into, I'm gonna join the Air Force. I'm gonna study this stuff. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get more opportunities. I done got 3 degrees now. Like I've used this to the max of my ability, right? Compound trust. What is compound trust? Trusting the process, trusting your habits and actions will get you where you're trying to go. Now, on the left-hand side of the triangle, you see it. Okay. It says victim mindset. It's easy to say market is bad. I'm talking about stock market for some people, or housing market, right? I need more money. I need better friends. I need to live in Atlanta. I need to live in Houston. I need a new car. Wish my parents were ... fill in the blanks. I want to be rich. I want a hot wife. I want a hot husband. You can go on this. I wish I had obedient kids. Any of these things are very much victim mindset. It's everybody else's fault. It's the city's fault. It's your job's fault. It's your cousin's fault. It's everybody's fault but yours. There's no personal accountability in this conversation. Someone commented on the post I put, well, Erica said you got to pull yourself out of my bootstraps and don't worry about reparations. And I said, we can always have a group of people who are constantly fighting the compound battle for reparations. We can always have that. Does it pay to have 40 million African-American people fighting for this at one time? No. We need at least 3 million Black people to go be in some trades. Just being honest, that's just on the men's side. I'm talking about blue collar. I'm talking about lifted certifications, inspectors, everything to do with housing, everything to do with the hospital. You name it, every level. We need about 3 million Black million over there. Then on the other side, we need about 2 to 3 million Black women. Again, a rising tide rises all boats. We have a overproportionate part of people who are in food service and service related jobs that pay less than, on average, $35,000 a year. When half your group, the working members of your group, are in food service and service related jobs. When people say, what are Black jobs? Service related jobs paying under $35,000 a year on average. You cannot, this is not an opinion. This is not a guess. This is not maybe I think. No, this is for certain. You cannot grow a community when everybody's making 35,000. Just can't. Just can't. That's not how that works. You'd have to have a whole community that was very budget focused, who all bought homes with no money down, NACA and teachers aid, and they just penny pinch for the next 20 plus years, and they could make it off the 35,000. No, we need an excess of people in our group who are willing to go get certifications, improve themselves, and go get $70K to $150,000 a year jobs. If not that, start a business. I would have never, and I'm being honest, like I think I would have made maybe 150 in the financial analyst role if I'd have stayed on that route. But I would have never made over $300,000 to $400,000 a year consistently if I didn't own my business, if I didn't confidently speak into the microphone, if I didn't offer consulting, if I didn't offer community, if I didn't offer growth for people. I would have never made that. And I'm okay with that. Like there's a lot of people on the internet like, oh, I wouldn't have made it. I would have made it, but it'd been a combination of things. It's like when I was working my job and I was like, we can own a painting company. Let's go do that. Just like that. Ideals will come to you in moments of frustration because you realize I am in control of the ship. and I can change this ship any way I want it to go, left or right, down the road or up. I push the wagon, I pull it. So when people are like, you're against reparations, again, I'm not. But that doesn't require 45 million Black people, time, energy transference, compound trust that maybe one day the government's going to do right by us. Maybe one day we'll beat over the court systems and the systematic opportunity. Like, listen. Again, one of the ways that they literally said you could stop cop shootings overnight is if you had every single Black person with insurance. Because by the time the insurance companies do a payout of 20 to 100 to 200 Black people in 1 year, payouts and insurance, cop reform would be the number one thing they lobbied against the next year. The number one thing. And so 9 times out of 10, when people try to tell me about this or that, I'm like, it's money. It's money in your mindset. And no one wants to hear the mindset part, even though you have people who are making 6 figures a year living paycheck to paycheck. Why? Their mindset. All right. It's much harder on the right-hand side. Say, how did I get here? How did I get into this place? How did I get in this situation? How did I get here? Well, the Lord just wanted me. No. How did you get here? Oh, the Lord wanted me to be on this side of town. Okay, but how did we get on this side of town? I got an apartment over here. I got a job over here. Okay, boom. That's all you had to say. People will try to spiritualize things that are really within their power and their control to change their life. Okay. Second one, what role did I play in my divorce, my kids, and being fired? Some of y'all are gonna be like, click, I'm gonna get about this video right now. Again, I'm gonna say it one more time. Whenever you come online, there's always somebody like, my husband left me and da 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 da. And then the people start asking questions. What was going on? Well, he didn't work. He was a deadbeat. He punched me in my face. He came from a bad family. I was rooting for him as an underdog, but he never materialized. Like, they start telling you the whole story. You're like, some man, the woman left me. Okay, what happened? Well, I married her, 10 years age gap difference. We have nothing in common. I don't know what she does in a day, and I never clean up after myself. Well, sir, don't you think you played a role in this? No, she left me. Oh, my kids don't speak to me. I don't know why. Sir, ma'am, sir, you're an awful person and you speak terrible to their spouses. Do you think they should stick around? Again, it's harder to ask yourself the tough question. Very hard. It's very easy to say the economy, to say Trump, to say racism, to say cops, to say everything. Everything but what role do I play in this? I know, it's terrible. Number one, I attract more of myself. People, and sometimes it takes therapy, sometimes it takes major life catastrophes. People will be like, trying to be nice. I see some people and I'll see their spouse and I'll be like, ooh. And I'm like, okay, well, don't judge off looks. Let me listen to the spouse talk a little bit. So the spouse is talking. I'm like, must have met when they were young or when she was down or something happened, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're attracting more of yourself. So I mean, we trying to be careful. We were at this event and this guy came in and he had kind of like a bimbo blonde with the blow up fake tits on his arm. And I remember one or two of the guys being like, that's his woman. Ugh. And I thought they're just haters. They're haters. But no, when they were saying the guy was complaining about his wife not supporting him, not supporting his vision, not understanding things. And then when you saw her, you're like, well, that makes sense. She's not the type of woman that would even care what you're going through. She don't care about your issues, your problem. She's here to look good, look pretty, and be on your arm. You're asking for a ride or die, and that's not it. That's not her. Okay. You attract more of yourself, right? So if sometimes quick money dudes attract quick money ladies. And that's because they're attracting more of themselves. Okay. I must spend less time with energy draining people. I've had moments in my life in season 5 where I was energy draining. Like if something bad was going on, I was like, oh, woe is me. And I had to just stop and go, that's annoying, Erica. Don't do that. What's done is done. Let's go for it. Right. If people don't, Oprah has this really great quote. Like if someone doesn't manage their energy when they're around you, you have to manage it for them by spending less time with them. And we all have family members that are like this, that we kind of like, oh, okay, I got to go see that cousin or that aunt. For some of y'all, it's your mom or dad. God bless you. Right. And they're just energy draining. just energy draining. Okay. But the hard moment stops are like, I love them, but I can't spend every day with them. I can't let them make excuses and do all this stuff, right? Abundance attracts abundance. So a lot of times people have scarcity thinking. How do you know? They'll be like, girl, ain't no good men out here. Ain't no good women out here. All the kids is bad. All the cities are expensive. Everything, like, it's just a nonstop barrage of scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. Girl, I went to the grocery store, couldn't find any hamburger meat. I'm like, ain't there like 10 grocery stores in your town? Not on my side of town. Like when I hear people talk about food deserts, and I'm like, you're in Mississippi, grow veggies in your yard, get food delivered to your house. I live in a food desert, Eric. You don't understand. Okay. Real sorry about that. What can you do to mitigate that? Abundance attracts abundance. It's your thinking. It's your stinking thinking. Okay. Momentum builds upon momentum. When you start taking action in your life, when you start going to the gym, you start a new relationship, you start meeting new people, all of a sudden you got new energy, new fire in the belly, right? Because momentum builds on momentum. Your body starts expecting that. I even have to like reset my clock every quarter and go on certain vacations where I'm just unavailable for the week to kind of reset the energy and be like, okay, momentum builds a momentum, but like take a deep breath. Where are we trying to put this ball of energy? What are we chasing? Right. Um, so again, process or chasing. When people chase money, chase opportunities, chase events, chase women, they're like, I'm trying to get this person, and it just keeps eluding them because they're in a scarcity mindset. Um, not a abundance mindset where there's always going to be more. There's going to be more opportunities, more money, more this, more that. Okay, that happened before, it'll happen again, right? Abundance, right? So winners give energy, losers take it. Just something to remember. Also on the right, the wrong thinking. You have to detach from some of this stuff, right? You have to really work on your detachment and energy transfer, because what happens is people will be like, Erica, I need $20,000. Okay, so I heard that, right? But my first reaction is that's the wrong way to go about it. You need to be telling your subconscious, I will make 100 calls. I'll network. I'll go to work. I'll send 1,000 emails. I'll promote. Now, immediately you're going, well, Erica, does that? How does that solve me getting $20,000? Taking the action, pumping the well, getting yourself to where you're trying to go, right? Taking the steps, doing the process gets you closer to that $20,000 than sitting there rubbing your hands together every day like, I don't know where I'm gonna get this $20,000. I gotta get this 20. I'm just thinking of ways to get this $20,000. Like that's not real. That's the wrong way to go about the whole thing. You're trying to chase, you're trying to force, you're trying to push. All that does is inner intention creates friction. Outer intention is flow. How can I help more people so that I can help myself? I know you didn't see that coming, right? How can I help more people with the gift I have so that they will be abundant to me, right? That will give and give. Give and take. We'll give and take, right? Great book, read, give and take. All right. Another one that you hear often on this internet, God bless us. We're so tired of it. Wrong thinking. I need a hot woman. I need a tall man. I need a rich man. I need a good looking man, right? This is wrong thinking. This is stinking thinking, really, right? Or I need better friends, whatever, right? Instead of the right way to think is, I will work out daily. I will go out of my house. This is the number one thing for Ruben. He ain't coming to the door, baby. I will go out of my house. I will do hobbies and I'll talk to 3 new people a day. I know I just lost a bunch of people who are like, talk to 3 new people a day. How, Erica? Man, you can go be in line at Starbucks. You can be at work at the office. You can be walking. You can be in public transportation. Just hello, hi, how are you doing? Grocery store, whatever. Quick. Hey, how you doing? Networking events, happy hours. Hey, how you doing? Right? The probability of you getting in proximity with someone who has similar thinking at a church, at a pickleball game, at a UT girls basketball game, at a football game. You see the women how they dress for the football games, right? They're going there with the inner tension. I gotta get somebody, and it's like, relax, let it flow, let it flow. Relax, my lady, let it flow. Right? Let your life flow, right? Because this the worst thing I've ever seen is when people are like, "Oh, I'm 40 and all I ever did was sleep around with girls and don't have no life and no career." I just showed y'all that guy the other day. The even worse is when I talk to women who are like, I always help my mom raise her kids. Then I helped over here and I helped all these people, but I didn't help myself. I didn't go out enough. I didn't meet people. I didn't. And you're like, woman, you're not dead. You're just in your late 30s and 40s. Now is another chapter. It's just a different chapter. But you're still gonna have to go out. You're still gonna have to do the work. And we hate that word, the work. The work. We could go deep in the woo woo. We're going to manifest. We're going to draw it on a piece of paper. We're going to write it in our journal every day. But at the end of the day, what are you doing? And you don't need more tactics. I'm not here to give you let me see a bunch of different, tell me how to meet 10 people a week, or how to make a email list and all that stuff. All that stuff is great. But I've told y'all this a million times. Let's say I send out one time a week. Let's just say Friday. I'm a busy working professional. And one time a week, let's just say it's on Fridays. I send out an email. I make a video. I record a podcast. And that's all I can do is one time a week. If I stay consistent for a year, that's 52 emails, 52 podcasts or videos. That's 52 pieces of content. That's 52 opportunities to interact with people. And by the end of that year, I will have some clarity on what's my strong suit, what I can push more for, what I can change, what I can ebb and flow, what I can do better. Same thing with if I study 1 hour a week, that's 52 hours a year, right? If I read 1 hour a week, that's 52 hours in a year, right? Is that enough time for you to be a master of your craft? This is where people are pushing for the wrong intention. I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want to be well thought of. I want people to think of me as smart. And I ask them, what are you reading? What are you assuming? Not just like the book phenomenon, but like, what are you actively ingesting to improve your situation? Is there a course, a conference, a mastermind? And if they have nothing, they're like, I don't know, just I really want to do this thing. Okay, so if you tell me you want to be a realtor, okay, well, are you going to the real estate association? Are you going to the realtor happy hours? Are you working under a really powerful, influential realtor, seeing what they do, are willing to work in exchange for income, right? Hey Erica, I want to be a builder. Okay, cool. Have you reached out to other builders? Have you looked in your area? Have you gone to people's meetups? Have you gone to people's events? Like, you have to surround yourself with the average in your marketplace. Now you're going to say, whoa, what do you mean average, Erica? The force of average. If you sit around 4 crackheads, you will eventually be the 5th. You sit around 4 gamblers, you'll be the 5th gambler. You sit around 4 people who cars always have issues, you'll be the 5th because you're giving rides all the time. They're always asking, can they borrow your car? I remember I had a friend asked to borrow my car to take a girl on a date. And I was like, she gonna know it's a girl's car. She gonna notice it's a girl's car. She gonna see my stuff in the car. She gonna notice the girl. Well, I'm telling her I'm borrowing it from a friend. I'm like, that's even worse. Because now she's like, how do you know this woman? Why are you borrowing it? Your cousins with her? And I just had to let them know, like, you borrowing my car. What if you wreck my car? You have no insurance. They were pissed. But long story short, it's the conversations that you realize looking back, you're like, if I let you borrow my car and you don't even have a license, what you're gonna wreck my car. Bump that, right? A lot of people are looking for more tactics. Like, what's the latest thing? What's the podcast and this and that and ads? And I can do the different type of ads, but really they haven't done the first part. Back to what I was saying about one. So let's say twice a week you do this. That's 104 times a year. 3 times a week, that's 156 times a year. 4 times a week, that's 208 times in a year. If you do it 4 times a week, that you're reaching out, you're emailing, you're calling, you're talking to people, you're in that environment. Something that I want y'all to hear me say is, when you wake up in the morning, who's worried about this? 9 times 10, y'all get up, you're worried about your kids, as you should be. You're worried about your job, and you're worried about some emails you didn't respond to. Are you worried about you? Right? Are you the dentist, the physicians, the blood work, the once a while checkup? Are you worried about you? Who gets up and worries about you? I think this is very important for people. When people say, Eric, I want to hire a VA, but I don't know what them do. Somebody needs to get up every day and worry about the business. Even if they're paid to do it, right? Because that's the best person, they're paid to figure out. And so you can sit down for an hour with a Loom video, telling them all the things you need to do, all the people we want to reach out to. Hey man, I need you to reach out to like 1,000 people a day for a year. Everybody and their mom needs to know who I am, right? This is the problem. No one wants to expend that much energy because they want, I did a little work, I get a little pay. I did a little work, I get a little pay. You have to train yourself to detach from that thought process. You do the work and the money comes, right? This is why when people say, "Oh, I can't start a business," 9 times out of 10 they got brain fog, their testosterone's low, they're tired, they're groggy. "Oh, Eric, I could never start a business." Well, first of all, you of course not. You're not even in a health condition to come home other than to come home and sit on the couch and go to sleep and do Netflix. I've been there before. Trust me. When I started getting my blood work checked and all this stuff, I'm like, say, this is not normal. I'm crashing. I'm on my third coffee. Something's wrong. So just getting that check, getting that stable position will get you in the right direction. Because it's easy to blame your health, your body, your age, your all this other stuff. Well, if I lived on the West Coast, I'd run more. What? No, you wouldn't. Like, stop it. But what are the processes, the systems to get you money? Right? We can go into all the granular levels of this and that. But honestly, all that stuff I told you about, like if you do a podcast week, let's say there's two ladies who they did one post on their Instagram page and one video post, and they said they did not like it. So guess what they did? They ran Facebook ads for $5 to $20 a day, all types of ads for a year, and they're making over $1 million. Why? Because there's a sea of people who like, I don't have time to build compound trust and be on here doing these videos, Erica, and doing that. I would recommend YouTube for people who are in the middle of the road, right? They could be the beginning business owner, or they can be in the middle of the road where they're in that 100 to $500,000 phase, because they can take that money up to $1 million plus, grow their building business, grow their consulting, grow their communities, grow opportunities, just get legitimized because people keep seeing them or seeing them in a space. But the biggest thing is the mindset. And every time I tell you that, you're going to be like, "Oh, Erica, not the mindset talk again. Not the woo woo." Yes, the woo woo. But the problem is many people refuse to renew their mind, right? They get to a problem and they're like, "I've always had this problem." Have you always had this problem, or you always had this level of thinking, right? Have you always got these results, or is it your thinking that's gotten you these results over and over again? Right? I just need a different system on how to do stuff, Erica. Even if I give you the system, if you don't follow the system because you don't think you need the system, then you won't do it. Right? And again, this is all metaphysics, but really I want you to understand, like, the reason when people go to church every Sunday, they're like, "Yeah, I'm renewed, I'm powered up, let's go. Motivation." Right? And then by Wednesday, they need to go to Wednesday Bible study because it already done washed off. Case of the Mondays got them, right? Now they go to Wednesday Bible study and they drag into the weekend and they're struggling, and then they got to get back to church on Sunday. When really it's a mindset, is a renewing of the mind, renewing the spirit. Who do they need to be around differently? Group workout classes. You can name a million things here. Group workout classes, group books, group book studies, pickleball groups, any of this. How often are you going? How is it a part of your mindset? Have you built compound trust in yourself? If you say, "I'm going to start this new thing," will you finish? Right? I have a friend who we did swimming class at the same time, but they were kind of more nervous than me for various reasons. And she would do like once a week for like 3 months. I just did for a month. And I think she has more compound trust in her swimming ability than I do, for sure. Like, I was just like, let me go every day for a month. Let me just get it over with, and pay money and be really confident in my swimming ability. And she just kept going after it, kept going after it every week, get a little bit better, practice on her own. That's how many of y'all are. You just need to commit to one time a week and growing whatever that is for you, whether it's content, digital liberty warriors, whether it's your middleman a million business. Is there a day where you can sit down and go, how can we grow this business? Do I need to buy leads off a local home service person? Do I need to get more interaction and networking and group? Do I need to subcontract for other people? How do I get more money? But it starts with pulling yourself out of you're in the grind. You're day-to-day slugging it out. And then if you pull yourself out, just detach just enough to look back and go, okay, maybe I could do some things differently. Yeah, I could totally do some things differently. And that's where the change comes. Being detached Just a little bit of detachment from like, if this business doesn't work, I'm a bad person. If this doesn't go through, I'm a horrible person. No, you're not. You're not. You're not. Energy transfer. Again, remember, every time you're talking to people at work, you're talking to people in public spaces, you're doing an energy transfer. Many of you are like, I'm just so tired, Eric, I don't have time for this. I get it. But you have to work on your energy management, your emotional intelligence, right? Your mindset. It's easy to fall down to levels of comfort where, oh, my company's growing, but it's not growing as fast as I want it to. Why not? You're telling me you're not doing all the things. You're not spending the ad money. You're not hiring the staff. You're not delegating to people who can get up and let this be their problem every morning they get up when they come to work. Got to build trust within yourself. Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? Are you going to grow this ability, this job, this position like you say you're going to do? This guy said you should call a job interview a meeting of two liars. You lie about all the stuff you're going to do for that company, and the company's lying for all the stuff they're going to do for you. So you have to come in and give it your best and document what you do at that job. So when you're ready to leave and go to a new position, a new opportunity, completely different results. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's late night. I'm going to go rest. But again, woo isn't always not working. It's your mindset. Like, where is your mind at? Can we bring you into a clear, concise thought process? Because if not, you'll blame everything else but the elephant in the room. You'll blame everything else. It's not money, Eric, because there's guys with money that are lame. Guess what? And women will be like, ah, ha, 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 right there with that lame dude. Because he's got money, right? Like hospital treatment, cosmetic surgeries. Okay, we see the difference in a good BBL and a bad one. Money. We see the difference in school education and bad school education. Zip code. What does zip code mean? Money. Every child in America is entitled to education. But what's the quality of the education they're getting? You see, one town's got AI teachers teaching. They got video recordings teaching the students. At that point, as a parent, if you've been notified they don't even have a teacher for your child's class and you don't move them to a private school or out of that class, you're not doing your job. You know that. But it's easy to blame the school at that point. It's the school's fault. No, baby, that's on you. They've told you what the situation is. Now you have to decide to move that child. Work on your soft skills, people. Hope this was beneficial to you. Drop a 1 in the comments if you enjoyed. Drop your city and state in the chat. If you also, it helps me determine where we're going to do events and how we're going to run in the future. So this is your girl, Erica, Classic Climb Blog. Take a good breath. Take a deep breath tonight. Relax. I hope this was helpful for you. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance. And guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who could do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done. And that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.